Hello, everyone. Welcome to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. It's your man, LeRon Dawkins here, and back beside me tonight is the one and only Stephanie Klimov. Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm no longer at the edge or on the edge. What's that phrase? I've been talked off the ledge. Edge.
Talked off the ledge.
Anyway, move along. Hi.
Our friend Corey has a night off, but in his place tonight is the most charming and wonderful Celeste Roberts from the 1v1 podcast show of Boss Rush Network. What's up, girl? How you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I was really worried the last episode was going to traumatize you.
No, I learned a lot.
I did too.
I learned a lot, and you guys are wondering what we talked about. You will have to check out the last episode because no spoilers tonight.
Yeah.
That lets us know right there if you're on your game.
After that, maybe we should just kick Corey out and have Celeste on permanently here.
No, now he's going to get mad at me. He's going to be like,
Hey,
why
why is he going to get mad at you? If anything, he should be appreciative that he can take a break.
Please take a break, Corey. We need you to take a break. You're going to burn out. Because I love you, Corey. You're the reason I'm here.
You see, you don't want to make Celeste cry. Look at you. Look at what you've done.
Yeah. So how have you ladies been tonight?
Been all right. It's on the up and up.
Been okay.
Good.
I get to hang out with you two people. I wish that we were in person. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, we've got to arrange the Boss Rush meetup one of these times. I'm not sure if it'll be any time real soon, but we got to do it. It'd be nice if we can do it before 2022 ends.
Would be nice.
I think this is related to a topic that we want to talk about, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, adult isolation, feeling more isolated as you get
You're right,
older.
yes.
That's right. So you know what? Real fast, before we even start getting into the thick of it, let me just go ahead and let's start our Boss Rush patrons tonight. If you don't know, the Boss Rush Network has a Patreon, and we would love for you to become a member and join our Patreon and become one of our patrons. There's a big assortment of perks available for it. I cannot wait for Corey to come back so he can go back to doing this. All right, so all you have to do, head over to www.patreon.com/BossRushNetwork, and you'll get some information about our tiers. But real quickly, for just the price of $1, subscribers can get into the early access tier of our Patreon, which grants you access to the Boss Rush podcast 3 days ahead of its release, as well as Boss Rush After Dark, this show right now, and Standard Definition, both 2 weeks earlier than the actual free feeds. We also have a $5 tier, which will get your name mentioned on our shows, in particular during the producer shout out moment. So you know what? I will go ahead and shout out our producers right now. We want to give a big thanks to Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adrian Munger, Corey's wife, Sana Derrick, Francisco Santalon, and the wonderful Celeste Roberts.
I'm investing in the community.
Thank you for your support.
Yes, thank you for supporting the network, and thank you for helping to produce our shows. Like I said, head over to Boss Rush Network's Patreon to get more details and also learn about our third and final tier that we have available. And if you aren't a member of our Patreon and are just checking our show on the free feeds, we love and appreciate and thank you anyway. Because guess what? Without you, there is no us. So there you go. All right, ladies. Ooh, I don't know about you, but I just gotta say, just being surrounded by lovely women, and women who have a lot of good stuff to talk about, it's awesome. Because the last episode that the three of us were on, shit, that was fucking amazing. So I can't wait to see what we talk about tonight.
Aw.
But before that, what's everybody been getting into lately?
Getting into as far as games or
games, TV shows, reading any good books lately, picking up any hobbies. I keep joking with Stephanie that I'm gonna start taking pole dancing classes. I'm gonna do it. Well, not pole dancing, pole classes. They don't call it pole dancing, do they? It's called pole, right?
Pole fitness.
Okay, see, that's the fitness part is what's got me intrigued. doing the tricks around the pole, that stuff.
That shit's hard.
Stephanie, you make it look effortless. I'm watching you and I'm like, God damn, girl.
I don't know, but I still struggle doing pull-ups.
Those
are hard.
rainbow platform stilettos. Oh my god.
They
Get
glow
it,
with black light.
girl.
I like
Get
it.
girl.
Thank you. It's
I like
fun.
it. Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, anything interesting going on in y'all's lives right now?
I don't know if I don't. This will probably be posted after we do this, but the beginning of August, the first weekend in August, my boyfriend and I are going to Houston. It is about a
Okay.
5-hour drive from where we
Nice.
live because we have some friends who moved there, and my boyfriend is the godfather of their children. So we're really excited. I don't think the parents told the kids, so it's going to be a surprise. So I'm really excited to see them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hmm.
For me, I vented about this last episode, so I'm not going to get into it, but I've just been very busy. I beat Stray. I'll start Death's Door from a gaming standpoint.
Congrats.
Thank you. I still am working on my 5th novel, so no updates there. Haven't really gotten into any new TV shows. My son is very much into Pokemon cards.
I know. He
So
sent me a picture of him.
the majority of my money has gone there, and here's the slippery slope. It's not just for him, because I collected Pokemon cards when I was young 25 years ago, and I think it's psychology, because back then my parents rarely bought me them, but it's
Mhm.
something I really wanted. So I had this tiny handful of cards I might have gotten from friends or hand-me-downs, but now that Pokemon's back, my son's in a Pokemon, and I have a disposable income, so to speak. I am
Mhm.
now buying too much. Like, I will buy, like, I forgot I pre-ordered something, right? I pre-ordered the new Pokemon Go booster set, and it's like this box. It's like this premium collector's trainers box. It was $60 and has 12 booster packs in it. Totally forgot I ordered it. Came in the mail today, and I'm like, you can have 6 and I'll have 6. So, like, I'm not just buying it for my son because he likes it. Now I'm like, I can buy all the cards I never could have gotten when I was a kid, and that's dangerous.
Yeah, that is.
So
God.
I unfortunately am in that now.
I
That's
don't know
all
if you
right.
can.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Celeste.
I just wanted to say, Stephanie, how you said like disposable income and all the things that remind you of your childhood.
Mhm.
Those Barbies, if you're watching this on YouTube,
Yeah.
I bought 3 Barbies just so I could dress them in those Super Mario clothes that they're wearing.
Ah,
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So,
Did you
you know,
play with Barbies as a kid? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of Barbie, like, are y'all gonna watch the Barbie movie when it comes out?
nope.
Yes.
I am. As a matter of fact, I was telling my boyfriend, I was like, I'm kind of interested in this movie. And he's like, well, we're still together by the time this movie comes out. You are going to see it. I was like, okay.
Have you seen Ryan Gosling as Ken?
What's crazy? I think I put Ryan Gosling on a certain scale as far as like attractiveness and stuff. Like, but him as the Ken doll, I'm like, man, he looks so basic. Like,
That's what's it's hilarious to me. Yes, he looks attractive, but it also looks comical to me. And I used to play with Barbies as a kid. So
I don't like Barbies. My mom got me Barbies because I was a tomboy. I rejected all things considered feminine in the gender role thing. Like, if I was born in today's society, I'd hate to know what would happen to me. But back then I rejected all things feminine. And so when my mom bought me Barbie dolls, I would pop their heads off.
that's hilarious. That is
I was
hilarious.
that
You're
person.
you're my little Wednesday Addams with her Marie Antoinette doll. I love that though. I did not like to dress them. I was not into, because that was too much work. I just wanted to make stories with them. I wanted like to play with the playhouse, use my imagination.
Yeah.
And I played a lot of the Barbie games, but I don't know if I wasn't like full-fledged tomboy, but I also wasn't like super girly girl. I don't know what the term would be.
Maybe you're just a regular kid that didn't veer hard into one particular gender role, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was weird.
No, because my mom desperately wanted me to be a girly girl, and I think because of that, I rejected
reverse.
all things feminine.
Yeah, when you push someone to be something, like it doesn't always go in your favor.
Right. And not to derail the conversation, but I've thought about this lately, gender roles and stuff, is that back then, so again, we're talking about I was born late 80s, so I grew up in the 90s. Back then, I mean, it's still kind of like that now, but it's better that anything feminine was a sign of weakness. Like, Females crying, sign of weakness.
Ah,
Pink, feminine, sign of weakness. So, and my dad, he wasn't sexist, but he would just in general say, Steph, be tough. So when I interpret be tough, I'm like, okay, then I must therefore reject anything considered weak. And unfortunately, growing up, what's considered weak? People who like pink or people who play with dolls. So
Yeah.
basically, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, because I know that's not true now, I know that. But that's why I became like I said, I wish I was a boy. I want to be a boy. I'm a boy. I wear pants. I don't wear
mm,
dresses because culture taught me that anything feminine was weak. Just a little tidbit.
I can see how you'd want to rebel against that.
Oh, definitely.
Life's weird. Anyway, sorry. That's my little
No,
psychological trauma back then.
that's something. It's something I want to do a panel on, or I don't know if it would be a 1v1 or something where I want to talk about. I played a variety of video games, but I also played some Barbie games and some games geared to girls at the time, which boys were playing too. They were
Yeah.
marketed to girls at the time. And I'd really love to discuss that. There's actually something called Femicom, FEMICOM. And
Demicon.
have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. No, I was
Y-
just
it's-
repeating it because I misheard it the first time.
Yeah, it's like an archive of all games marketed to girls.
Oh, I have to check that out because I know I've definitely played some girly games, or girl or
Yes.
or games marketed towards like girls and women and stuff like that.
Yeah. I can understand that feelings, Stephanie, because I went through phases like that. Mm, I didn't want to be told what I could not do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But LeRon,
My
were you going to
sister.
say something about? Oh, you just want to talk about the Barbie movie? That's
Oh,
what
I,
it was.
Oh
I,
yeah, sorry.
no, I just asked a
Oh,
question about
okay.
the Barbie movie. Given that yeah, we're talking about Barbies.
So what about your sister? She's older,
My sister,
younger?
my younger sister, she's 12 years younger than me. Like
Okay.
as a matter of fact, it's one of those things because I was the only child for 12 years, and then she showed up and kind of like ruined my fun. But no, because she had a brother that was 12 years old, like getting ready to step into high school and stuff like that, like she wanted to do everything that I did, so she wanted being a tomboy.
Oh.
And actually, I think she's a better. There's some aspects of it where she's a better man than I am because like my my dad played basketball and I can't I the basketball gene sure as fuck skipped me, but she was a high school and a college like basketball player
Oh
and stuff.
wow.
Yeah, like yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I can't shoot hoops to save my life. You tell me you give me 10 attempts to make a basket, I may get one.
What sport would you say is your best if you had to pick one?
Well, that's a funny story. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I told you this story before, Stephanie. Um, because I was the only child. Well, I was the only child for but also like my mom, like she's like basically a lifelong diabetic. She was type 1 at like 11 years old. And so when her and my dad got married and stuff, like pregnancy was a hard thing for her to carry to term and stuff like that. So she'd had a couple of miscarriages before I came along. And so when I came along, like for the longest time, she used to talk about me like how she'd tell me I was like the miracle kid because she was getting to a point where she thought she could not have any more kids, well, she wasn't gonna be able to have any kids and stuff like that. So she became she became a prototype of a helicopter parent. She didn't want me to do anything where I could get hurt and
I
stuff like
see.
that. So yeah,
Mm.
so like me and my dad, we would go to war for her, trying to get me to like do stuff. Like I remember she shot me down wanting to take karate classes because like I grew up when the Karate Kid was a thing. So
Mhm.
like every kid wanted to like take karate, and stuff like that. Sports, it was super high contact sports like football and stuff like that. Nope, that wasn't a big thing. Like, oh well, why didn't you play basketball like your dad? And stuff like that. I was always shit at playing basketball, so I didn't want to play and stuff like that. Things like that. So so yeah, the one sport I would say I was good at would be baseball. And
Mm.
the bad thing is like I didn't keep up with it. So like I know I'm not as I know I'm not as good right now as like especially like throwing the ball. Like if I were like way out in the outfield and stuff like that, I know for sure like I'm not going to be able to like sling the ball, get to like second or third base, in time before someone rounds one of those bases now. But I was pretty good in that. I My dad and I were successful to finally get my mom to relax and allow me to play football for a season. And here we go. Like it was it ninth? It was either eighth grade or no, it had to be ninth grade. Yeah, it was freshman year. You know, like I'm in there, I make the team and everything. Like we're doing practice scrimmages, like we haven't even had our first game yet and stuff like that. But we're just doing practice runs and all this stuff. And I remember like I was going and tackle this guy, like he was about the same size as I was. I think he was maybe just a little bit bigger, but like about same size as me. I remember like the dude like stiff armed me. And it was like one of those powerful ass stiff arms. Like it took me off my feet.
Oh God.
Yeah. And like usually when you fall backwards, you always throw your hands out to try and catch yourself. Well, I landed the wrong way and I hyperextended my wrist.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Yeah. And now just remember everything I told you. Like I was a kid who was very sheltered. Like my mom didn't want to see me get hurt at anything. So yeah, like
your head.
so yeah, like I fell, I hyperextended my wrist and I just couldn't deal with that pain. Like immediately the coach ran in the field and he was like, "Hey, like it's not too late. The nurse is still here. Go to the nurse's office right now." Yeah, like I just knew my wrist was broken. Like that's the way I felt and everything. So like I get to the nurse's office. The nurse is definitely like, "Sit down. We'll take a look at it." Every time she would attempt to touch my arm and my wrist, I wasn't having it. I wouldn't let her touch it. So like that. She's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to call your mom because like you're gonna have to like go and get it like looked at by a doctor and stuff like that." So I'm putting up the good fight and everything, like yeah, like I'm freaking out because I think my wrist is broken and stuff like that. My mom gets to school. She walks into the nurse's office. I kid you not, like I'm sitting in the chair like right next to the nurse. I see my mom walk in the door, and as soon as she walks in the door, I look at her and I just start crying.
Oh.
I just started crying. And my mom freaks out because she's never seen me cry like that before. She's freaking out.
Oh my God.
Like I get taken to the emergency room. I don't know what the nurse did to finally calm me down, but it got to a point where I was finally calm enough to where a doctor and the nurse could actually like look at my wrist. Like we got it examined. And the doctor, like from the way he could from what he felt in it, he was like, "Okay." He's like, "I don't think we need to do X-rays." Like he was talking to my mom at that point, and he's like, "Can you move it at all?" Like it was already swollen, but he asked me if I can move it at all, and I was like, I did a little motion test, and he's like, "Okay, like it's not broken." So he basically ruled that it was a very bad sprain, like to the point where it was hyperextended.
Oh God.
I was in a sling for 4 weeks. And here is the here's the funny part of this whole story, right? Because like when I got cleared by the doctor, I could stop wearing the sling and stuff. I was actually healed up, but just take it easy and stuff like that. One day, I'm at home doing my homework and stuff. I was the only person at home. My dad comes home, and he walks in the house, and he looks at me. I'm at the dining room table doing my homework and stuff like that. And he looks at me for a second. He's like, "Isn't there practice today?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you going?" I was like, "No." And that was the last time we had a conversation about me playing football.
Oh my God, you poor thing.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Like I'm 47 years old. I don't like getting hurt. Like if I cut my finger when I'm cooking, I freak the fuck out. But it's not because I like seeing my own blood. It's the fact that my fucking finger hurts and I can't deal with it and stuff like that. I don't like getting hurt. And now I work out and stuff like so like you run your random gamut of injuries and stuff like that. Like I just recovered from a something was going on with my leg. Like my boyfriend and I went hiking the week before my birthday. Went hiking, did a 5-mile hike, on a trail. Somewhere around mile 4, I could not walk anymore. Something was wrong with my leg. And the big joke is like, look. Once you get to your 30s, take care of yourself. Like your body's gonna turn on you fast. Once you get to your 30s and beyond, because my boyfriend, I remember this, and now I'm like I regret it because we get to the trail, we both get out of the car and everything. I'm making sure like I have water and all this stuff and a towel and all this stuff. and I look over and my boyfriend is doing stretches. He's jogging in place, warming up and everything. And I'm like, we're not running. We're going to actually walk the trail. I'm not in the mood to run. Also, I hate running trails. And he's like, oh, I'm just getting warmed up and stuff, like that. I was laughing at him because he was doing that. And then guess who was laid up for nearly 2 months because he couldn't walk straight?
Was it him? Was it
That
him?
was me. That was me.
It was you!
That was me.
I don't know if he was talking a big game and then he's the one who suffered.
No. And just last week, he sends me something on Twitter. And it's basically like, do these 8 things before your next run. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
That's not nice.
You
That's
motherfucker.
not nice.
Yeah, but yeah, like I cannot stand being hurt, and I can't stand being hurt in discomfort or in pain and stuff like that, So it's just one of those weird things. Like it took me nearly 5 months to get over a I believe I pulled my freaking what's the fucking damn it I can't remember
Your shoulder. Your
it's the
Rotator cuff.
Thank you, rotator cuff. Like when I moved to my new place, I just wore myself out, and before the move and everything, I something was going on with my shoulder because I felt like, like how sometimes you twist your arm and how like your muscles kind of roll over each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I could definitely feel a lot more tension in that movement and stuff like that. So yeah, moving, hauling all those boxes and furniture and stuff like that. Yeah, my rotator cuff was like, I quit. Took me over 5 months for that to heal, and as soon as the rotator cuff gets better and everything, then I hurt my leg.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like a fucking mess.
It all started when you fell as a kid. That's what
Basically-
started it.
Basically, like I don't want to give my mom any hell or whatnot, but there are many days I want to ask her. I was like, why did you coddle me so much when I was a fucking child? Like, let me go out there and get hurt. So, like, I've never broken a bone in my life. I've never had to go in for like a major surgery, besides dental surgery, where I pull some teeth out and stuff like that. I've never had to go in for like a major surgery. So I've never had stitches or nothing like that, yeah, but yeah, pull a muscle or some shit and I'm fucking done. Like, as a matter of fact, I can't function when I have a headache.
I think that's a man thing.
You know
Must
what?
be.
I'm just picking on you, LeRon.
No. I tell everybody I date. I was like, hey, when I get sick, I have full on man flu. I don't care if it's just a 16-hour bug. I have full on man flu. You can't. All you gotta do is just pamper me. Like, if I call you and say, hey, I need this, just don't say a word. Just go get it.
All right, LeRon, if you ever are sick around me, I'm going to put you in my jet tub with some bubbles. And
Aw.
a
Oh, I
candle.
would love that. Considering that at 6'3", 240 some odd pounds, there is not a tub I can fit in. I tell myself, like, the next house I move into and whatnot, I'm going to make sure there's like a nice Olympic size like bathtub in there, because I hate the fact that I can't get in the bathtub and submerge like up to my neck without some part of my body, like my knee, sticking above the water or something. Like, I just cannot get in the water and just be there. And I know there's people out there that's like, ugh, like taking baths and stuff like that. You don't understand. At 47 years old, and the only thing I can do is take showers. Like, I would like to be able to take a bath, in something that's not a swimming pool,
Mhm. It's relaxing. I try to take a bath once a week. I usually shower in the morning after I exercise. And once a week, it's just nice. Put on a podcast or some music, bubbles. Just relax.
Definitely. Enough about me. I guarantee you everybody's listening like, well, Ron's like a big ass bitch. I can hear it.
No.
Not at all. So what are we talking about? Did we do housekeeping?
Technically the show doesn't have housekeeping, but just so everyone knows real quickly, like, this is Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. As always, we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. Definitely you hear this first if you're a patron subscriber, so definitely like look that up. And not all that's out the way, let's go ahead and bring it to our first topic. What is our first topic, ladies?
What about the adult isolation thingamajigga? Sorry, I'm bad.
Yes. I
That's
came up with it today.
yeah. Okay, so go ahead, get started, Celeste.
I was just thinking, so I have you all in my life, and it's wonderful. And I have friends in real life who have moved. I have a few friends nearby, but I don't get to see them that often. And sometimes I get very sad. I mean, my boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years, but your partner is only one part of your identity, right?
Mhm.
They can't fulfill every need that you have and every facet of your personality. Timmy's a little bit more introverted than I am. I'm a little bit more extroverted. I like meaningful conversations. I don't want to go if I'm around people I don't feel comfortable with, my extroverted side will kind of wane. But I've just been thinking a lot how I wish that there were a way to travel that's faster than flying on an airplane, because yeah, we all could go, travel to an airport. I hate airports. I hate them. They're stressful. Um and it's also expensive. It's the theatrics of it all. I just wish we could do like they do on Ron's Star Trek with the little beam me up.
The transporter beams, yes.
Yes, and I could just be like, Stephanie, it's Wednesday, it's random, but you want to go grab something to eat, a girls'
Mhm.
night? Like that would be awesome. And I mean, I know we could do virtual happy hours and stuff, but I've been kind of sad lately that my best friend moved to South Carolina 10 years ago, and we keep in touch, of course, but there is something about being with people in person.
Yeah. Um, you know, I'm I feel like I'm kind of weird about this because I consider myself an extrovert, but just like you, like sometimes the extrovert batteries in me like kind of wane, and stuff like that. And I always feel like like I would just love to have like like a week. Like I know it's not even the whole. I'm past needing the whole day or weekend now. I need like a week or a month. Where it's like as little contact as possible, even if it means like I have to like take a month hiatus from work or whatnot. Like when it's. I think how I wound up like this is because like when I was unemployed for a while, like one of the last things I had to sacrifice was having a cell phone and stuff like that, and being off the grid for like a hot minute, and by a hot minute I mean like it was like almost a year that I didn't have a cell phone.
Mhm.
being off the grid Being
Wow.
off the grid, it changes it changes the way you think about things and stuff like that. I always thrive in social environments, but yeah, there are days when it's like I don't want to see people. I don't want to see people. I don't want to think about people unless they're on a television where they don't interact with me.
Well, yeah. Do you also find it depends on the type of person? Like I've been around people, I can automatically tell from their energy and how they're acting. I'm not comfortable around them. I'm not jiving with them.
Yep.
But then there are people who, like, I have online friends and people like you that I can talk to about things that I don't talk to other
Hmm.
people in my real life with.
Yeah, for sure. I'm naturally an introvert, so it's already challenging enough for me to see people in person, but gonna sound like that old fart shouting at the clouds, but I technology is wonderful. It helps us connect with people. I wouldn't have met you guys without it. But the fact that my brain's now so trained, it changes the way I communicate to people. Like I really prefer texting over a phone call.
Mm,
Oh yeah.
It gives me another layer of excuse not to see someone. And I hate I do it sometimes too, so it's not like I'm criticizing other people, not myself. Is the yeah, let's get together sometime, like that phrase, but like with no carry through. I mean, granted, again, not counting extenuating factors, but just kind of like that shallow promise of seeing people. And I
mm,
think
Hmm.
like most of y'all can relate, COVID compounded that and made it even worse. I don't have social anxiety, but it's just all the more reason for me to be like, yeah, there's really just no point in connecting with people, even though deep down, like every human needs some level of connection, and it can kind of lead to this like weird cycle of like, not necessarily depression, but I don't
I know what you mean. I sometimes I like randomly kind of tear up when I think about things.
know.
I don't know if y'all ever have the, I'm not even from stress or anything, just I feel lonely sometimes. And I've done local plays, like I've performed in local theater, I volunteer in my community, and I love those people I've met, but I connect a lot with you guys and other people. And
Yeah.
it gets sad. It's sad sometimes that I can't just say, let's have a game night in person. I'll cook or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I told myself I was going to get back to doing, like Stephanie knows this, but I used to live with in a house with like a married couple as well as one other adult, and then all of a sudden it became like an additional adult because like
Hmm.
right before COVID happened, like a situation happened with one of my roommate's brothers, like the actual guy that owned the house, like his brother had a bad breakup from a girlfriend, and it was one of those situations like if he doesn't get the fuck out, she might do bodily harm to him. uh,
Oh my
and
God.
so like this is right before COVID happened. We didn't even know COVID was coming, basically. It was one of those things where he was only going to be living with us for like 3 months, and then like he gets in and 2 weeks later, bam, everybody's staying at home and stuff, like it's unknown what the way of life is going to be and stuff like that. And of course the housing market does what it's doing, and shit gets worse. And like so now I was living with four other adults, and then like the married couple, they had a kid, which I love that guy. As a matter of fact, he was just over here, like the little man was just over here 2 weeks ago, and he would not leave my side. He would not leave my side. Like
Oh,
we're each other's favorite person.
that's so awesome that you could keep in touch with them.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, when the opportunity came to move out of that place, I have a roommate, of course, like right now and stuff like that. But when the opportunity came to get around less adults, I took it. And
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
exhausting.
there are days when I actually want to isolate myself, even though I only have one roommate.
I will say, so I'm a morning person, so I get up at 5:30 and I exercise and I have that time to myself. Timmy's a night owl, and I think it's a good balance because I'm like you, LeRon, I need my time. I'm like you, Stephanie, I need my time. No matter how much you love someone, you can't be up each other's butt very
Yeah.
often.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you find
Um,
as you've gotten older, it's feels a little bit more isolating or less
oh,
isolating?
I feel it's more isolating. There's a lot of factors. Like, I found a change in the friends that I had once everyone started getting married. That's like one thing. The
Mm.
difference between like singles and married couples. I mean, some still retain that friendship. Like, there's still plenty that do, but especially with women, I feel not all, obviously. When they get married, they just completely just absorb themselves into their husband's life and their friends. Like that happened to my
Yeah.
last best friend that I had from high school. And I'm
Um,
not speaking ill of her at all. But unfortunately, what I felt and observed was that as soon as she got married, she was all about her husband and all her husband's friends. Like just, and
Now,
I gone. She doesn't talk to me. We don't talk.
was that her, or was he controlling, or that's the role she wanted to assume?
I think it's the role she wanted to assume. He's a nice guy. We got along. He's a nice dude. She's kind of like your like Pinterest kind of girl. Like I want to do everything like perfect and be part of I don't know everything. I don't know. It's like hard to explain.
Like Betty Homemaker?
Yeah, so she's just all about that. So we didn't have a falling out. Like nothing bad happened, but just once she got married, I just saw a switch flip and she was all about that life and cared more about his friend circle and made friends with those people than maintain the friendships of past. So I saw that happen when people have kids, but that's what happens. So like that's when my parents would say, "Well, you'll just make a new set of friends. You're gonna make
Mm.
friends with parents." I have still yet to make friends with a lot of parents, and I personally am struggling. So that's one factor, like where people are in their lives as you get older, because people will have more life events as they get older. That includes divorce. I think I
Hmm.
lost another friend because of divorce, because she was very, speaking of our last topic, very Catholic. And so when I told her about the divorce, she goes, "Well, maybe if you're lucky, you guys will get back together." I'm like, nah, that's not really what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's
And I
not helpful.
yeah, and again, I don't want you to think I'm speaking ill of her, and she was not directly critical to me, but I could tell she was disappointed that I was getting a divorce. Not sad for me,
Mm.
disappointed. Guess what? We don't talk. So like I lose a lot of people via life events.
That's that
Yeah,
sucks.
It's
yes.
disappointing. That's just I'm disappointed that that
Yeah.
was her reaction.
Right?
It was very it's just super heartbreaking, and um I've lost friends that I've gone through a very depressive it's very depressive episodes. I suffered um sexual assault. I've lost friends after that assault as well. um so just I feel like there are lots of adult sized trials that I felt like have been isolating. And then last but not least, it's also the day and age we live in. I feel that the odds of me finding a genuine friendship, it has actually decreased. There are a lot of superficial friendships, fair weather friends. I mean, that's always existed through the dawn of man, but I feel like
Mm.
it's more so now. And I have a hard time making friends. I've even gone on Bumble BFF because I'm starting to run out of places to meet people for friendships. I've had made a couple friends from there, but like,
Wait. Did you say Bumble for BFF?
yeah, so Bumble's the
Mhm.
dating app, but then there's also
I
Bumble
make that one.
BFF, and then there's like a Bumble, I don't know what it's called, like for networking from a work standpoint. So
Oh, they
now,
have that?
I did not know that was a thing.
I
yeah,
didn't know either. I didn't know they had an I knew about the front one, but I did not know about the
networking or
I
something.
had no idea.
Like one, I've met a couple of divorced women on there. That's kind of why I went on there, because I now had no at that time I had no friends because I was divorced.
Hmm.
And one of them is a very close friend of mine. I mean, we have very different personalities, but we bonded through our divorce. And I fulfilled her ex-husband's role at their D&D campaign, but I made friends through that. So now I have like a D&D group that
Oh,
we're
wow.
friends.
That's
So
cool.
so it's, I'm trying so hard. And I'm sorry this is a long-winded answer to your question, Celeste, but yes,
No, that's what this is about. And I'm glad you're doing that.
I it's getting more difficult as I get older. Many times I wonder if it's me. But
I think we all just we get caught up in our lives and
That's one part of it. That's one part of it. Like, the how did our lives get so mundane and monotonous, like, I get I'm pretty sure, like, like everybody goes, you guys go out and do things, like you put some spontaneity in your life and stuff like that, but it it did become a chore to go out and meet new friends, didn't it?
it's exhausting because you're
Yeah.
a time we're running out of time. Not to be dramatic, but as you get older, time is probably the most valuable thing you have, and you don't want to waste your time.
That part.
And unfortunately, people are an investment, and it takes time to get to know people.
Hmm.
And like Stephanie is saying, sometimes people don't always have your best interest at heart.
yeah.
After I got divorced, I keep in touch with like one or two people that were closer to my husband, my ex-husband, but the dynamic has changed, and they're good people. I don't wish them ill or anything.
So
Just
you're not one of those people. If I if I broke up with him, I broke up with your ass too. You're not one of those people, are you?
no, not at all. I wish him well. If I would see him in public, I'd give him a hug and ask him how
Uh-huh.
he's doing. I wish him the best in life. But yeah, one friend, mutual friend, we were hanging out after we had been my ex-husband and I had been separated. He and his wife came over to my rent house, and I don't know what the topic was. I think we were just talking about the whole situation, and I think he meant this jokingly, but I didn't take it as a joke. He said like, Celeste is like used goods now.
Oh crap.
I don't talk to that person anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk to them either.
I mean, that wasn't like I didn't say get out or anything, but I just
Yeah, I
like,
would
oh,
have
I'm
just.
busy. I can't hang out with you.
I'd have been like, you're a big fuckhead right now, aren't you?
If anybody's listening, if you, I don't know if this is like a life advice podcast, but divorce is not the end of the world. In fact, I'm grateful I went through it because it's just a legal breakup. I mean, yes, it can be more complicated if you have children and property and all these other things, but it's not the end of the world. Like, I was actually optimistic. I was like, man, maybe I'll meet somebody who's fantastic and I won't have to deal with the stress of this bad relationship.
Yeah, I definitely will agree and support that statement because I was disappointed in myself as a Catholic. Like, damn it, I'm getting divorced. I'm a disappointment. But, you know, no, and many people have told me this. No one gets, well, I would hope no one. The majority of people get married without the intent to get divorced. No one wants to get divorced.
Agreed.
Okay. So,
Agreed.
No.
and I feel like as long as
No.
everyone's done their darndest to make it work and it just can't,
There's nothing wrong with that.
there's nothing wrong with that. I could have chosen to stay, but I bet you I'd be a psychological mess. Like, I would not be as good of a mother, I don't think. I think I would have gone down a really dark path. So I feel like it was I was disappointed in myself that I couldn't be like all those other wonderfully married people that are just having the best time of, but
Oh, they're not always that.
but
I mean,
Yeah.
but the bottom line is, Celeste, you're right. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't make you, like that person said, used goods, or as my mom says, I'm luggage, which is her version of baggage. She's like, Steph, you've got luggage now. I'm like, you mean baggage?
everybody has that. Every single person walking this
Yeah.
earth has
It's a
that.
life phase. It can be expensive, but it's just a life phase.
It is. And would you rather? Okay, my great grandmother, I did not find out until I was much older because they weren't going to tell me this when I was a kid. She stayed with my great grandpa. They were Catholic, and it was also a different time period. She had up to a third grade education.
Mm.
He had a family on the side. Like, he was a philanderer. And they didn't tell me this when I was a kid. I knew
Wow.
them. I grew up down the street from them. Where was she going to go in like the 1930s and 40s with a third grade education? And she was Catholic.
Can we stop for a moment and just talk about how it was fucking crazy oppressive to be a woman, before shit. Like, I almost want to say it's still like that, honestly, like in this day and age and stuff like that. But the fact that, like, there was a time when everything a woman had or did was tied up in her husband or the person that was going to be her life mate and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess I have like the look, I guess I have like the vision of like how the world is right now, that I don't think I could ever be that type of controlling, over a person I call my spouse. But of course, like, like back then men were ingrained to be a certain way with their women and stuff like that. And yeah, like having women on the side, that was just part of being a man.
oh yeah, like apparently it was way more common than you would believe, because my mom was talking about it with one of her coworkers and how it upset her because she adored her grandparents, and her coworker was like, oh my gosh, that was happening a lot more than you'd
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want to make an announcement to the man that I'm kind of dating now, that if you hear this, I do not tolerate cheating. If I find out, I will drive down to where you live and chop your balls off.
Whoop.
Oh God, but that's a great example though. I mean, if my spouse did that to me today, I could be like, well, I guess we're getting divorced because I'm not
Right.
staying with you because I can support myself.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
read a funny, well, it's not really that funny, tweet about like marriage fails, which is really sad actually, that this girl found out hours before her wedding that her soon to be husband fucked another woman not too long ago, and she went through with the wedding. Would you guys do that? And I
No.
want to keep in mind, like, I can understand that it would be difficult because you paid all this money, but like still, would you
No.
go through with the wedding?
No,
I
I'd make a fucking spectacle of the fact that we're not getting married.
Oh, yes, I'd make it an unwedding in front of everybody.
And you know
Oh
what?
yeah.
And you know what's crazy about this? Like, I'm kind of reasonable, because like I'm one of those people, like I kind of like do this thing where it's like an anatomy or a biopsy of why, like, like somebody's cheated or the relationship has gone this way and stuff like that. But right before a fucking wedding, no, I don't even have like enough patience for that shit.
Yeah,
I'd make it a newly single party.
I would actually probably go out of my way. Like, I will still have the wedding, but right before we get married, I just like stop the priest or the justice of the peace and be like, "Oh, by the way, everybody, this guy fucked so and so a couple hours, so
The
we're
wedding's
done
off.
here. Let's go get some drinks. Like I would just publicly embarrass the living
Yeah.
daylights of that person.
I don't understand it.
Stephanie would be like, well, before we pronounce this man husband and wife, is there anybody here who'd like to object? And Stephanie would just be like, I'd like to object.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly how I do it.
That's
God.
But you know, it makes me wonder. This just popped into my head. I'm How safe was it for my great grandma? Like, were there STDs and stuff? Like, how many people
Or
was
just
he
imagine,
banging?
just imagine your grandma finally like had enough and was like, I'm gonna leave your ass. Like, I wonder what that environment was like for a hot minute.
Yeah. That's
She
awful.
she adored him though, apparently. Like she
Oh,
worshipped the ground he walked on, and but like up until he passed away. No, she passed away before he did. He would go like every Friday night and go play cards with this lady, this side lady,
that is
Sure he did.
that's so
Okay.
sketch. That's so sketch.
which like I can't even fathom that. Like, okay, if you're like into polyamory, but that's not cheating, and there's obviously like an understood consent there, but I don't think that was the
Yeah, I
case
don't think
with
she was
them.
into
Yeah.
polyamory.
Yeah, that was not. Yeah.
No, that was not the situation.
You know,
But
same thing with my Nana. She met my Gong Gong in China, and then they moved to Taiwan. And because he was in the military, he would or the job that he had, he was always traveling. He was only home like once every couple months. And unfortunately, there's definitely been rumors that he had been having several affairs and possibly fathered another child with another woman. And like my Nana couldn't do anything about it because of the time, but also like the Asian culture, like
mhm.
I don't know. I personally can't imagine myself being in that helpless situation. I would be so pissed.
Do you know that we as women were not allowed to have credit cards until like the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
1970s, which
Yeah, I knew that.
blows my damn mind.
Wow.
And rent apartments like LeRon was talking about, you had to have your dad or your husband or like a brother or somebody sign on your
Yeah.
behalf.
And if you were a woman that actually had like lived on your own and stuff like that, you are immediately a lesbian.
Immediately.
A lesbian.
Yeah.
God.
Insane. So yeah, adulthood, isolation, yes. Um, it's a very lonely thing. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, but I am grateful that I've met the folks at AZP and Boss Rush because even though there's the limitation of being online or virtual, y'all kind of saved me because I was, I hate
Oh,
to say it, but I was losing friends left and right. They were just dropping like flies. I was like, I'm gonna grow old and die alone. I don't want to die alone
let's move in
because
together, Stephanie.
yeah, I want to be like the Golden Girls because I don't want to go to a
Yes.
nursing home and be abused by people. That's my
Which
fear.
which Golden Girl? Which yeah, I
I think I would be Dorothy. I hate to say it, but I would.
oh,
Hate to say it, she's a bad bitch. Are you
I
kidding
know,
me?
I know.
Dorothy's awesome.
How about you, Celeste?
I would like to say I'd be a Dorothy, but I'm really more of a Rose.
Aw.
I know how I am. And if we move in together, we have to get a house just like the
Yes.
Golden Girls house. Like oh. The Mega Millions, as of this recording,
It's like 1.07 billion, right?
we bought, yes, as of the time of this recording on July 27th. The drawing was July 29th. We bought 5 tickets. We never buy lottery tickets, but we're like, you know what? What the hell?
You know, I'm a dumbass because I only buy lottery tickets once it gets past like 400 million. That's the only time I start buying them, I should be buying them when it's like the base, like what is it, 50 million is the base, right? Like that's what
I,
that's what it resets to, right?
I'm not really, I don't really know a lot about it. I would love to win, but I also don't want to win because I would lose a lot of friends, and I'm worried about like ransom notes and people kidnapping family members. And I think of all the horrible things that would happen.
know-
I'd be okay with like $10,000.
That's the bullshit I hate about winning the lottery is like you can't be anonymous about it, you know.
Only
Isn't
like
it depending
7
on the
states.
state?
It depends. There are like only 7 or 9 states that allow you to claim it anonymously.
Which I think is bullshit. Like, use your common fucking sense. What kind of repercussions do you think will be if your name is publicly like you just won $1 billion? You're gonna die.
We have so many relatives who are not great with money that I mean, I know what I would do. I'd be like, this is the amount you're getting, and once you spend it, that's
Oh,
it.
yes. As of July 1st, 2019, a new law in Virginia allows winners of prizes greater than $10 million to claim the prize anonymously. Yes,
Nice.
I'm in there.
Buy some tickets, LeRon. Hey, can we kind of make this like a quick spin-off topic if you don't mind? Like, what would you guys do if you won this current jackpot? You said it was 1 point something billion?
I think it's
1.02 billion.
Oh, 02. I thought it was 07. Okay. Yeah.
Still a lot of money.
So ballpark after taxes, we're looking at, I don't even know how much the tax. I just know it's heavily taxed.
Maybe like 600 million.
Okay,
guess.
so let's round it down to like 500 million, $500 million. What would you do?
Let me see something.
First step, there's a thread on Reddit that tells you everything you need to do. Like, first you lawyer up.
Okay. The Mega Millions winners can take 30 annual payments of over 29 years or the immediate cash lump sum, which most winners opt to do. The estimated cash option will come out to $602.5 million, and the prize will be subject to a 24% federal tax withholding, or roughly $144.6 million. So if we do the math on that, 602.5 minus 144.6, you wind up with nearly $500 million. I guess $487.9 million.
So would you guys take the lump sum, or would you take the monthly payments?
I would fucking take
lump sum.
Actually,
I would take the lump sum.
I would. Well, yeah, that's right, because you get it up in more taxes taking it monthly.
And there's a risk. What if they file bankruptcy down the road and you're screwed?
Yeah.
Like, you don't get this
Yeah,
money. So I cannot remember verbatim, but in the Reddit thread, somebody said like these very thorough steps of everything you need to do if you win the lottery, like legal stuff and everything. They said take the lump sum, and they explained why.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good to know.
Lawyer up. Number one, lawyer up.
Yep.
They said do not talk to anybody. Do not go to your family's lawyer. Go to a lawyer in a big city. Like, go to a big firm. Say that you want the most experienced lawyer. Set up if you are interested in helping out family and friends, set up trust.
Set up trust.
Set up a trust for them.
Yeah.
Do not consult them. Do not, because apparently there have been lawsuits where like, oh well, they talked to Aunt so and so and she gave them unduly advice or something. I don't know. That the Reddit thread can explain it, but
Yeah.
Protect yourself.
Well, if you find a thread, please share it with us. If you find that thread, please share it with us.
We're talking like we're about to win, but
well, so again, so what I would do I think it's sometimes more fun to think about what I would do with all this money than I would actually, I'd be scared. Again, I'd be scared that there'd be people coming after me or my family members making threats or ransoms. Like, well, we know you have the money, so we're going to kill your grandma unless you give us $500 million or whatever. But in the sunshine and rainbows aspect, once I get my money, I would absolutely quit my job. I love my job, but I would quit.
I struggle with that. I love my job, and I struggle. Oh, you know what? I feel like I'd still be working at my job, but it would definitely be one of those like I give zero fucks.
You have fuck you money. I would donate to a lot. I would donate to charities. I'd volunteer more. I'd travel. I would donate to a lot of things in my community, like all these fundraisers and things they're trying to do to beautify things. I would be the one. I'd be very heavily invested. Like, we're going to revitalize downtown. I would help fund some businesses. I'd fund some scholarships.
Trust me, I'd throw enough money into the city that at least a street would be named after my ass. I would throw enough
Dawkins Lane.
Like shit. Like, if I don't get a street, if I don't get a fucking park or a lake, I better have a fucking street.
What about you, Stephanie?
Well, I would tackle the boring stuff first. Like, I'd get myself out of any sort of debt that I'm on. I would set aside money for Nikolai, but not in like a way that he would grow up being spoiled, be like, oh, I just will have money when I turn 18. Yeah, I would figure, I don't know how, but that I'll leave the legality.
Talk to professionals.
Yeah, I'll be like, I want money for my son so he won't suffer, but I don't want him to turn to a spoiled peckerhead.
I like that. That.
I would obviously have to parcel out money for certain family members, like all that other stuff that we just talked about. I would likely quit my current job. I would have a job, but I would no longer want to work in pharmacy. I'm sorry. I will keep my license up to date every year, just in case. but I will have a different job. Maybe I would like throw myself full time into Boss Rush, for example, like something that I am passionate about, throw myself back into writing my novels or working on graphic novels. So I would still be working, but it's like I have money in the bank to support me until I can get up and running.
Mhm.
Definitely would travel more. Goodness, what would I actually do other than like being a beneficiary to places? I would donate and stuff too. Um, I would do a lot of investing,
Mm-hmm.
properties. Um, Also, speaking of like charities, like I would like to do like throw my power like to support like environmentalism. I'm really passionate about that. Um, I would make my gaming room super badass. Just replace all
Stephanie,
my TVs.
Stephanie would have a fucking arcade in her house.
Yes, I would have an arcade in my house.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the gist of it. I know that I guess that was kind of boring, but I don't know.
No, not at all. I mean,
No, I mean, no, it's a lot of stuff that I actually would also consider doing, like, and be sensible about it and stuff like that. The main reason why I would say, like, the main reason why initially I was like get the monthly is because, like, I don't. Everyone says getting a lump sum of money like that changes you and stuff like that.
mm,
I don't feel like I would be one of those jackasses that blow through a lottery in like 2 years, lottery earnings in 2 years and stuff like that. But I also feel like having that much money right there, is also temptation to like do something fucking nuts.
mm,
Like
yes.
going out and buying an island that you know nothing about, shit like
You'd
that.
have to protect yourself from yourself. Like you'd have to
That's
Yeah.
true.
be
That's true.
disciplined enough to set up a trust for yourself.
Yeah.
Like definitely, like, whatever debt I had, it gets consolidated immediately and stuff like that. Some family will get taken care of and stuff like that. Definitely my mom will get taken care of. I'll do something for my sister. I'll definitely invest. Like put in sensible investments. Have like stocks and bonds and stuff like that. But I would also take care of a few things that I've always just wanted to do for myself and things like that. And this is not even splurging. Like I'm not going to go out and buy like a $500,000 car, shit like that. Just like just some of the stuff that's always been, stuff that's been on your lifelong wish list. I'd knock some of that stuff off and things like that. I definitely like, I would become a philanthropist. So, I would donate to charities, charities and things that make sense to me, or,
Mm.
make sense to, you know, um, shit. Like I definitely do a lot of stuff for tax write-offs, like to make sure that, like it's just not, like, oh, I put this money into it, but it's also not leaving my account, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would still remain working. I do like my job and stuff. I like, like I work in the tech field, and I'm doing stuff that's, it can be brain breaking work sometimes, but at the same time it's fun work. It's right up my alley of stuff I can do. So I would still keep my job and stuff like that. I'd probably be struggling with like the level of dedication to it,
Yeah, I'll be part-time. LeRon will be part-time.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think some other stuff, uh Oh, definitely for sure though. Like I said, now I know Virginia is one of those states where you can claim anonymously. Like nobody would know shit. I would literally like cash that check, and then like people would not realize, like, oh, he bought a new car, like but they wouldn't think about it because it wouldn't be some extravagant ass fucking car or some shit like that.
Well,
I'd still live a low key life and stuff like that. Well, I would try to. Somehow, some way I'm
Your
gonna do.
mom, your mom would spill the beans.
She probably would. But somehow, some way, like somebody would eventually find out that, oh, he came in some money. Like, what did he do?
right. But I like your approach. Is not to like go super obnoxious to the point where like it's very flagrantly noticeable.
Yeah,
Like the thing with the car, like for me, I wouldn't get like a Maserati, but you know what I'd get? I get a Tesla only because like I can actually now afford an electric car. So it's nicer, but it's not like
yeah,
super obnoxious.
yeah. Like, and I think that's where a lot of people that actually come into money, and I'm not even talking about lotteries. Like some people get inheritances and stuff like that,
Mm,
and they go fucking ham. They get shit, and then they don't understand why they don't have any more money. Like it's like it's nice to have, but it's supposed to sustain you for at least a certain amount of time. It's like a lot of people's inheritance is like they it might be something that sustains them for the rest of their lives, but in a sensible and practical world, like it's usually something that gets you by for like a set amount of time and stuff like that. And some people just don't. I know I'm not fiscally and financially responsible and stuff like that, but I feel like I have the know-how, to say like, oh, rein this shit in, LeRon, right now. Like, like you just spent $90,000 in 2 weeks. Like it's time to stop fucking around, stuff like that.
It's funny how like people turn into children when that happens, because children have that impulsivity that
Yeah.
for the most part as adults we try to calm down a little bit. There's how there's a lot of HGTV shows, like people who renovate houses. There's actually a show specifically for people who won the lottery that are buying houses.
Yes.
It's like,
I know what you're talking about. I would again be worried about safety. That's the biggest thing. Like if we win anything from this drawing on the 29th, I hope it's like enough to like, oh, we'll put some towards the house or something, but not.
We can time this. We can time this to the day. Like the next drawing. The next drawing is
the 29th.
Oh, the next drawing is the 29th. The next drawing is the 29th
at 11 p.m. Eastern.
By Tuesday, all of a sudden, like Celeste is gonna be like, "Hey, I've got some things to do. I'm gonna drop out of 1v1."
Oh God! I would say, hey, party, boss rush party. Y'all pick the location.
I'm flying everybody
flying us in, yeah.
I'm just
destination
Celeste, how
boss
much do we
rush.
owe you? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So I miraculously have the ability to fund everybody's hotel room. No, I'd really want to help people, but okay, this is something else I've thought about. And maybe y'all could enlighten me. I was thinking about this because I'm insane. What about the relatives who are like currently struggling to get by, but they rely on like Social Security and disability income? If you would give them a certain amount of money, would that affect their eligibility to still use Social Security? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
it definitely would. So what I would have to do is I'd also have to set up a trust for them that, like as it matured and stuff, like they'd be able to like tap out from it and stuff like that. Basically the same way like, parents set up college funds for their kids and, they can't touch them until a certain time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would do the same thing for them. And you know what? And here's the crazy part about it. I would find a way to let them know like, hey, like if you need help for something, like I'll be able to help you out, like depending on how extreme it is, of course. But the reason why I would do that is because I would already have a trust set for them. So like if they actually get super down on hard luck and whatnot, like okay, like here, let me help you out, and I'd actually borrow against their trust.
But would that count as income for them? That's what I'd be worried about. Like,
oh yeah, that is a good question. That is a good question.
I mean, I'm thinking too much about this because we do have relatives, we want to help them, but then what if that makes them ineligible for the benefits they're receiving?
Some legal, I wouldn't call them loopholes, but like, how there's some terminology, like you can gift someone money, but it's only like a certain amount per time period. So I bet you there's a threshold that you can write it off as a gift versus income. I just don't know what that is.
Maybe so. That's a good point. I guess because my fear would be, you screw them over and then they have this medical emergency or something where even your amount of money, like you become a piggy bank.
worst case scenario is I will start a GoFundMe and then just funnel the amount into that and tell them, hey, pull out from that.
They take a cut though. GoFundMe.
They take a cut, but guess what? I'd make sure it's a decent enough cut that they can still get by.
Yeah, I think too much about all this, I guess, because I know.
No, it's a good. It's a good thing to think about because you could unintentionally change their lives, and if they're not prepared for their lifestyle to change like that, you've actually done more harm than good for them.
Yes, and my fear would be, what if they have extended relatives finding out we're helping them, and those relatives like you'd have to be very strict, and you'd have to explain to them. If you give, like, I don't know, you have to lawyer up. Like, I think Timmy was laughing. I mean, he's like, you're talking like we just won it. I was like, no, I have to be prepared. I want to be prepared in case this happens, because
it can be scary how friends and family can react just people in general react about money. People act funny around money. That's just it's weird.
Oh, is it like after people die, some of the first, like some of the, what is the first thing people do? They go
Ooh.
hawk around their houses, or they start freaking out about inheritances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so my parents, they have three daughters, and they don't have a will yet. They have not made their will, and they're like, oh
Paxel
well,
says hi.
hi Paxel, you're gonna be in my will, Paxel. Hi Paxel, sweet baby. So I'm like, Mom, y'all need to get this in writing. Oh, it's the three of you. It's gonna be easy. I'm like, no, there's something called probate court, and
Yes.
it's gonna drag out. You see how fast the government works,
See,
okay?
I just learned about that shit, and like and now I'm at this point where I need to have the conversation with my mom. Actually, I need to have the conversation with my sister first to see like what part is she willing to take responsibility for, if she wants to take responsibility for it, or if she just wants me to handle it all and stuff like that. Yeah, because it's one. Aw, it's one of those. It's one of those situations where it's like my mom, she's getting up there. She turns 69 this year. Yeah. Yeah, she turned 69 this year. And it's one of those situations where it's like, like I said, she's been a lifelong type 1 diabetic and stuff like that. Like, like she's got blood pressure problems,
Mm,
and stuff like that, and it's getting to the point where you like me and my, like, I live a 6.5 hour drive away from her. Like, so it's like just right around 400 miles away from her. So like, if I have to get up and like, take a road trip or whatnot, it's kind of a hassle. My
yeah,
sister
yeah.
my sister lives in Georgia, and she's a lot closer to my mother. I think her drive time is like just a little outside of an hour to get to my mom's house and stuff like that. So she can get there faster, but the problem is my sister's always traveling for work and stuff like that. So like sometimes my sister winds up in a cannot be reached status and stuff like that. So like it's getting to the point where after having conversations with my mom and stuff on the phone, like and realizing like she needs help with stuff, like I now after talking to people who are in like the probate and fiduciary like services and stuff like that, and getting the hell scared out of me, like I'm at this point now where it's like I got to get ready to start. I got to get the medical power of attorney. I got to get the financial power of attorneys and all that stuff in place and stuff like that. Especially when my mom's talking about possibly like following some family members and moving to Texas. Like,
Oh
no,
boy.
like,
Every state's different too.
yeah. I'm like, my ass is staying in Virginia, and you're gonna go halfway across the nation and stuff like that, and make it harder for me to get to you. By the way, now the idea of driving to see you is no longer an option. I have to take an airplane.
That's scary stuff. And
Yeah, it is. It is.
like, uh, I was actually texting Stephanie this morning or yesterday morning, because I was listening to another episode where y'all were talking about wills. After Timmy and I bought our house, we went to willing.com, because one of my previous jobs, that was a benefit, like you save some money, and it walks you through it, asks you for your state, because every state's different, and you can update it. And like, we got the deed to the house set up, like whatever, they walk you through it all, like where you have to establish
Mhm.
this person has the deed to the house, because we're not married yet. And I hate to say it, no matter how much you love people, no matter how much you love family, let's say something happens to one of us, you don't know what the next of kin, which I guess would be our parents, you don't know what people are like.
Exactly.
You don't know. And I would hate, like, what if they're desperate for money, or they're grieving and they're not thinking right. I don't know. Like, I'm a very cautious, paranoid person. I want everything in writing.
Mhm.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I did everything correctly. I think we got it notarized. I'm also I try not to be a pessimist. I'm like, I'm sure we screwed up something somehow, but we did our best. We did what we could. Hopefully, we won't have to put that theory to the test.
I'll definitely check out what you sent me, because wills terrify me. I still don't have one. And the fact that I just have a son is probably the primary reason. But then I always joke, like, I have this much, like, to my name. Like, what does it matter? But like, I know that's not the right way to think.
You
Yeah.
have more than you realize, is what I've always heard. You have more than you realize. Your car, your health insurance, life insurance.
Well, I meant like compared to my debt. So maybe that's enough to cancel my
Oh,
debt.
I don't know. But another thing, don't let the debtors, freak out your next of kin, because they're not going to assume your debt. Don't let them call those. You'll be dead. So you'd be dead, so they wouldn't be able to help them.
Yeah.
This got real. We talked about isolation. We talked about divorce.
We talked about what happened
Money.
when we won the lottery. Yeah.
God. Okay, if y'all won the lottery, I sincerely mean this. I wouldn't expect you to be like, Celeste, just because I know you, I'm gonna give you money.
That's the other thing too. But I know just from the type of person I am. Like if like one of my best friends, like because I have two best friends, like, and how I justify it is like I have a male best friend, I have a female best friend. That's how I justify that. So if either of my best friends like like won the lottery and stuff, I would not hold any entitlement over them that I should have something.
Yeah.
I would hope they would want to.
Yeah, you're like.
Right.
I wouldn't expect it, and I wouldn't want them to feel pressured. I'd want them to still be themselves and still be my friend.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's their life, it's their money, it's they will do what they feel is best for how they want to do it.
What you gonna say, Stephanie?
Yeah,
Oh,
what
no,
were you gonna say?
that's the thing about entitlement. Unfortunately, a lot of people these days just feel like, well, what about me? Where's my cut?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'd have some relatives who'd be extra pissed with us. Extra pissed.
Yeah,
but I hate to say it, they're really dumb with money, and
yeah.
I've seen the decisions they make. $1 million isn't going to fix that.
Be like, bitch,
Yeah.
you need a role model. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you're in debt and yet you buy a Mustang with your tax return, like you're in extreme debt. Yeah, I don't feel bad for you. I'm sorry. That was mean. I don't think they listen to this podcast. Oh.
Yeah. Have you ever wondered, Celeste, like who in your family or friends might listen to After Dark?
Probably my sisters. If I had to pick.
I'd like to think that no one in my family will ever listen to this. So that's why I've been speaking very freely.
Corey posts these on LinkedIn,
Oh. Well, that might work.
No, I mean they'd have to do some serious searching. So.
Ooh, goodness. If my boss.
No, he's not tagging you in it or anything. Don't worry. I think it auto populates on his LinkedIn. Corey, we're on to you.
Yeah, like I think he has a lot of stuff on his LinkedIn just because like it like for what he does now for work, like it actually boosts his profile.
Yeah, he's trying to
his professional profile.
Is there anything else y'all wanted to discuss?
I can't think of it. Yeah, I can't. I mean, wow, like this was. I don't know which one was. I don't know if the last episode that we were on like is loaded or if this one was loaded. I feel this one hit every spectrum as far as I can tell. Like we talked about some heavy stuff, we talked about some fun stuff, we talked about some shit that makes people think.
Yeah, this has been pretty, like, Celeste, you've brought like a lot of amazing topics to the table here.
You're just saying that you're my friend. You're just
no, I mean it. I really mean it.
Oh God. I don't know. I overthink. I have analysis paralysis. That's my problem.
Analysis paralysis. I like that.
I didn't come up with it.
Okay.
It's a thing. I didn't come up with it where you overthink and to the point where you don't take action. And like, okay, for example, like I'm like, okay, we got our wills notarized. We did exactly what each step did. And then there's a voice in the back of my head, you screwed up something. So if one of you dies, you're going to screw over the other person.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. I will say that. You're not alone in that.
But at the end of the day, there's only so much you can control in life. You do your best and
exactly.
I mean, you can't lose sleep over it all the time. There's always going to be something that could go wrong, right?
Yeah. Granted, easier said than done, but like I'm right there with you on that.
So everybody who's listening, let us know what you would do if you won the lottery.
Yeah.
For real.
Tell us.
For real, yeah. Tell us. We'd like to know.
Yes. Okay. My stupid purchase. Can I tell you my stupid purchase?
Yes.
Yeah,
one of many stupid purchases. I'm not a big like handbag person, but I do love the classic Chanel black quilted handbag. Mm-hmm. It's iconic.
That's your stupid purchase? I feel like that. I feel like that's just.
If I did not have that kind of, I am not going to drop $5,000, $10,000 on a handbag. First
okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But if I won the lottery, that would be my treat yourself material stupid possession.
Huh.
I
Do
think
I
hey,
have
you
it?
got good taste, girl. Like Chanel
Yeah.
is very classy.
But it's so funny because Timmy jokes with me because the most I've ever spent on a handbag is like $60, and he's like, just whenever we talk about how much like Louis Vuitton and those different ones cost, he's like, but it does. They all do the same thing. They all carry your shit. And I'm like, I know. That's why the only reason I would get this Chanel handbag would be if I had stupid money where I
If
wouldn't even
I got
miss
you.
it. I wouldn't
I
miss it.
oh God.
I
I don't
think
even know what my treat yourself stupid spend would be. I don't even
mine
know.
would be like a little bit of everything. Like for me, I would redo my wardrobe. Because what I've been doing is sometimes buying cheaper things, but the quality's not good. If I
Mhm.
could afford it, I would rather buy high quality stuff that are really expensive but will last me for the next
You end up
decade.
saving
You know what I'm
money. Yeah.
Right. And then I would actually do more of like constant spa day type stuff. Like I think that's where I'd splurge is like constantly
Yes.
do spa stuff. And lastly, like remember how I mentioned like Pokemon cards and stuff? Like I would full blown indulge into collector mode. Like I would now be able to afford like retro games. Like I would have like a display thing downstairs with everything retro, things I could buy that I currently cannot buy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's your stupid thing, LeRon?
Yeah.
See, I've been sitting here thinking about it. Like, I really don't know. Like, and that's the other problem too. I'm kind of like an impulse shopper. Like,
Mm.
I'm that dumbass. I'm that dumbass that walks into Best Buy and walks out with some shit I know I did not need at that moment.
Well then
So
So
your
we're
your
gonna.
splurge would just be shopping spree then.
it
Yes,
pro-
yes.
it
I
probably
like
it
that.
probably
I
it
like that.
probably would be. And the crazy part is like you know what, there's a good chance I probably buy a ridiculous bunch of gym equipment because like I would kill for a really good at home gym.
Mm.
Next week we're gonna see LeRon posting
no,
pictures
no,
of
I
these.
mean, shit. Like, this is not my house, but I would renovate the fucking garage to make part of it a gym.
Mhm.
Nice.
I love it. Well, hopefully next time I talk to y'all, we've won a little bit of the money from
Yeah.
the lottery. I would be fine with, a few thousand.
Yeah,
That's
Seriously.
not enough to give away. That's not enough for the Sharks to come after
I
me.
mean, here's the thing. I would not be pissed if like I wound up having to split with like 5 or 6 people, that
Hmm.
also had the winning number. I'm no,
I
I
wouldn't be
would not
upset.
have a problem.
No, that's still an disgusting amount of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm telling you, like, I mean, like I don't understand why I'm not playing it when it's like the base amount, the 50 million. Like, I don't understand why I'm not doing that.
No, because you
I
have a
feel,
better chance of being struck by lightning. I guess.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
I guess so. But like, there's also a part of me I wonder. I wonder if it's rigged.
Really?
Well, there's a part of me I wonder if it's rigged because like we never hear. Okay, like so, let's say someone wins this jackpot right now, the 1.02 billion dollars. Let's say someone wins that right now. It resets to 50 million, right? We don't ever hear about $50 million winners. And I guarantee you, like it's not always going up. There's got to be sometimes when it resets and someone hits it right after the reset. You know what I mean?
Does no one care about the lower
I don't
end? Is
think
that why we don't
I
hear
don't think
about it?
we never hear the news say someone in XYZ state like won the 50 million jackpot. We never hear that, but as soon as this shit goes above 300 million, that's when we start hearing like someone's won that shit.
I guess because it's such an absurd amount of money.
That's probably it. And like it might be a slow news day for that area of the United States when it happens.
I wonder, like, I'm sure the odds aren't that much better, but I wonder how much better the odds would be if you play the
When it's
lottery now
low, when it,
versus low. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think about it. I should. I mean, like
Again,
a
still
few bucks a
very
week.
But at the
probably
same
very
but at the
poor
same time,
odds.
I think it was like $2 a ticket, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's $2 a ticket. I usually just run a $10 bill, and run some numbers. I don't even have set numbers, so I always just let the computer pick the numbers. Which that's how the prize gets so big because like the computer's generating the numbers and stuff like that.
Mm.
They can and as we're like I don't know. I feel those stories where you have people who are always playing the same exact numbers day in day out, and
Those are my parents. That's my
yeah,
parents.
it's like no, I can't. I don't have an idea what my lucky number is, so why would I even bother?
I think they use like our birthdays or
Mhm.
something for their numbers. They've been using that for years. They don't buy very often, but whenever they do, I think they use the
Speaking of
birthdays.
which, like, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, my mom always tells the cashier, like whenever she buys lottery tickets, if this is the winning lottery ticket, I'm coming back and I'm looking for you so I can give you some money since you sold me the winning ticket.
That's another thing too. Like like if I overpay for these groceries, that's your money.
What you gonna say, Stephanie?
No, nothing. It was just more like, can you imagine like those people that literally play the lottery every day, several times?
That's a little ridiculous. You're
See,
gonna
those
you need
people
to
who have
invest your
those
money.
are people who have a gambling problem.
Yes.
Like,
That's
it's something so innocuous. Like all they're doing is just going and buying. Well, actually, I wonder about people who buy lottery tickets versus people who are always buying scratcher cards. Like,
Ooh, yeah.
I wonder how they look at each other. The scratchers versus the people who are going buying the lottery. And it's like you're playing the same number day in and day out versus I'm going in spending XYZ amount of money on scratchers. And some days I get lucky and get that money back.
Yep. At one of my old jobs, we would do White Elephant or Secret Santa or something, and it was like a 20. The big gift was $20, $25 limit. A very popular gift was for people to buy scratchers for their Secret Santa. But it kind of sucks because sometimes you might not get anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is why if I were to ever do some sort of gambling, I'd rather go to a casino. And the reason why I say that is because there's entertainment value. Like you're there in the atmosphere, a lot of people watching and have a drink and enjoy it. So like I can wrap my brain around, I'm going to assume these $200, for example, will be gone to pay for my entertainment at the casino. If I end up breaking even or even making a little bit, that's just a bonus. Like I feel like that's more worth my time than a one in couple million odds of winning the lottery. I mean, Mega Millions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The psychology of casinos is fascinating. You notice there are no windows, there are no clocks.
Yep. And they're like pumping oxygen into the room. It's crazy.
They know what they're doing. They know what
Yeah,
they're
they do.
doing. Oh, it's almost midnight where y'all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think this is a good stopping point.
Let us know what your favorite casino game is, listeners.
Yep, for me it's Texas Hold'em and Blackjack.
I love me a good blackjack.
Yep.
I like pressing buttons.
I don't think I've ever been good at roulette. Like I don't understand the concept of roulette. You just call a random color and number. Is that how it goes?
Yep.
Yeah.
And people who want to play safe, they'll just bet colors. That's why you hear the whole bet on black. That's because it's 50-50. So it's like a safer way to bet. I mean, betting on numbers has a higher payout, but you have like a 1 in, I forgot if it was like 36 or 38 chance of winning. So. Is that?
Well, now you know.
The more you know.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. So, as always, thanks to everyone that took the moment to tune in and listen to Boss Rush After Dark. Before we head out, as always, we're gonna let you know how to get in contact with us and stay in contact with us if you want. Celeste, please go first.
You can find me on Twitter at Fairy Crypt. I'd love to talk with you and let us know. I don't know what's going on in your life.
For real, yeah. Stephanie.
People can find me on the internets, Twitter and Instagram at Klimov_author, and most Wednesday nights on the Boss Rush podcast and other ancillary shows in the network. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. It's getting late. And as always, you can catch up with me on social media at Exodus803. That's also my YouTube and Twitch handle, as well as my PlayStation Network and Steam ID. You can always find me Tuesday nights on my YouTube channel with the Crossroads podcast. That usually goes down at 8 p.m. Tuesday nights, where we talk about PlayStation, PC, and Xbox gaming, along with some other things, of course. And you can catch me on various iterations of Standard Definition, including Mass Effect and the Marvel MCU stuff. Come back and join us for our next installment of Boss Rush After Dark, where we'll be back with more topics that aren't completely content appropriate or the other anchor shows. We love you all. We appreciate you, and y'all have a good night. Be safe out there. And no, we won't force you to tell us if you win the lottery.
Bye.
Have a good night.